So far, there's no neighbors out right now. So none of my neighbors are going to see me doing this, but somebody might come outside at some point and then that'll just be really awkward. So we'll see how it goes. Hello everyone and welcome to a new video. Today I'm coming at you from the beautiful scenery of my backyard for another cosplay story time. Why am I filming in the backyard? Well, I recently tested positive for COVID, and since I've been locked in my room in isolation for the past few days, my room is an absolute disaster and I don't have the energy to really clean it right now. So I thought it'd be better if I just filmed outside and gave you guys kind of a change of scenery and just did that. So that's why we're coming at you from the backyard. By the time you're watching this video, I will be out of isolation. I'll be totally fine. So don't worry about me. I am totally good. But yeah, my last few days I have been in isolation. So that's been a bummer. That's been boring, but you know, it is what it is. So for today's cosplay story time, I'm going to be talking about my experiences going to the print store and picking up prints for my cosplays. If you guys don't know, I've done print sales in the past. I don't do them very often because they don't really attract a lot of attention. Honestly, selling cosplay prints is not very lucrative. I really don't make a lot of money from print sales, so it's not something that I do very often, but it's something that I've kind of tried to test the waters with in the past, and I've of course learned that it's not very worthwhile. The amount of time and energy you put into picking up the prints and getting the prints done and taking the photos for the prints and everything that goes into making the prints, you really don't make enough money to justify all the time and energy that goes into making prints. So unfortunately, it's not a real worthwhile endeavor, but it's something that I've tested the waters with in the past. So I've had two different instances where I've gone and picked up my prints, and very interesting things have happened both these times. One time was a very negative experience and one time was a very positive and very cute experience. So I'm going to be telling you guys kind of two sides of what it's been like picking up prints from the print store. So both these instances happened in my hometown, where I went to this office supply store to get my prints done. And getting cosplay prints done is very nerve-wracking, at least for me, because I'm always worried that the person who's doing the prints is gonna judge me for my cosplay photos, because cosplay is a little bit weird, right? It's a bit of a weird thing. So I don't know what the reaction is gonna be. And the other thing is that I don't know if the person who does the actual prints will be the same person who actually sells me the prints, if that makes sense. If the person who did the prints will be the same person I'll be picking the prints up from when I actually go to pick them up, right? Because if it's the same person, then there's some awkwardness there, but if it's a different person, then it's not. So that's kind of what I was worried about when I was going to this office supply store. So this is my first time ever doing a print sale, and I picked this office supply store, and I figured that it would be a different person doing the actual prints than who I would pick the prints up from. This is what I told myself to kind of make myself feel better about doing this whole thing. So basically what happened was I submitted all of my prints online, ordered them through their online website, and then went, once they were ready, went downtown to pick them up. And so I go down there, and it's this lady who works there, and what I quickly learned was that the lady who works at the print department of this store, it's just one lady. It's just one lady, and this lady hates her job. I go down there and I say hey, I'm picking up an online print order, and she asks for my name, and I give her my name, and she stops and she's like, "Oh, you," and then gets my prints for me and is super unimpressed the whole time, seems super disgusted with me, and I'm not exaggerating. This is literally, that was how she said "Oh, you," that's literally how she said it. And literally the whole time we were doing the transaction, she was super unpleasant and was clearly unimpressed with me. getting these cosplay prints done, which, like, I'm supporting your business. Like I understand if you don't like your job, I understand, but like I as the customer should not have to endure that. Like, you shouldn't be taking that out on me as the customer. And also, like, you're a print store, you're gonna get weird stuff, and you shouldn't be judging your customers for what they're getting printed. And like, this was not a one-time thing. I had gotten many different things printed from this same print store. Now that I'm thinking about it, I don't know why I didn't go to a different print store. I think because this one was just like really convenient and easy and cheap. So that's probably why I kept going to that same print store, even though I knew that this really unpleasant lady was working there, I guess. But yeah, I went to that same print store many different times, and it was always the same experience with this lady. Like, she would always be really unpleasant, she'd be judgmental, and like clearly she did not like her job, which like is again totally fair, but you shouldn't be taking that out on customers. Anyway, so that was my first experience getting my prints picked up from that location. Then on the other end of the spectrum, we have another experience I had at the same print store, but with a different lady. And oh my gosh, it was like night and day between these two experiences. So again, I needed to get some cosplay prints done, and I submitted them online, uploaded them to the website, ordered them, and then got an email saying that they were ready to pick up. So I go down there and I'm bracing myself for another unpleasant experience with the same lady. I go down there and it's a different lady who's working there. And this lady is absolutely delightful. She's like very chipper and very pleasant, very pleasant lady. She asks for my name and I give her my name, and she takes my prints out, and like before handing me the envelope, she actually takes them out of the envelope and starts looking through them. I guess she was doing like quality assurance, just like making sure that they were all okay. But basically she takes my prints out before giving them to me, and she starts looking through them, and she sees like one of my Meg photos, and she's like, "Oh, is this you?" And I'm like, "Oh yeah, it is." And she's like, "Oh, where was this taken?" And I say, "Oh, it was taken in Vancouver." And she's like, "Wow, well, I think you look better in person." And I'm like, "Oh, really?" And she's like, "Yeah, sometimes that happens." And she looks through all my different photos. I had like a photo of my Dipper cosplay. I had a photo of, I don't remember what else, but I definitely had a photo of Meg, and I definitely had a photo of Dipper. So she goes over to the people at the till before I can like pay for these prints, and starts showing them to her coworkers, and she's like, "Look how cool this is, like this is her, this is the same person." And one of the people is like, "Oh, Gravity Falls, that's really cool." And I'm like, "Thank you." And she basically did this like whole show and tell with all of her coworkers, showing them my cosplay photos. And I felt like, oh, there's a piece of fluff in the, oh, I can't get it. Okay, I got it. I felt a little bit embarrassed, but a little bit like, I don't know, it was kind of delightful, kind of embarrassing, a little bit of both. So that was a very different print store experience than what I was used to. It was very nice getting praised for my cosplays rather than getting judged for my cosplays. And I don't know, I mean, it was like a little bit embarrassing, but still kind of made my day. Like, that lady really brightened up my day because she was so nice. And it was nice not having to worry about being judged for my cosplay photos, because like I was bracing myself for the other lady to be there and to be like judgmental, but this lady luckily was very delightful about the whole thing, so I really appreciate that. Since then, I've started going to London Drugs to get my cosplay prints done. I used to do prints for Patreon, and I did recently do another print sale, and I've gone to London Drugs to do my, not sponsored by London Drugs, by the way. I've gone to London Drugs to get my prints done because in that situation, the people who actually do the prints are completely separate from the people who actually like give you the prints. And when they give you the prints, they don't look at them or anything. They just hand you the envelope and that's it. So it's a much like safer feeling arrangement, I guess. And it feels like there's much less of an opportunity for there to be embarrassment or judgment. So that's what I do now. And I like it a lot. I've also gotten prints printed through an online company back when COVID was first happening and we couldn't leave the house. I just ordered my prints to be sent to me, which sucks because you have to pay for shipping, but you don't have any room for anybody to judge you in that situation. So I found ways around this whole issue since then. But back when I was in my hometown and was first doing print sales, this one print store was like my only option, I guess, and it made for some very interesting experiences. Anyway, that is my print store experience story. I hope you enjoyed it. If you have any similar experiences, I'd be very interested to know. I don't know if this is just like a me thing. Has this just happened to me, or has this happened to anybody else? I'd be very interested to know, so please by all means let me know in the comments. If you are new here and you'd like to see more videos like this, I put out new cosplay and like nerdy videos every Sunday, and it'd be awesome to have you here, so feel free to subscribe, and don't forget to hit that bell notification to be notified every time I put out a new video. Anyway, thanks so much for hanging out with me today. I really appreciate it, and I'll see you guys all next time. Until then, Panda Faces, please be sure to take care. Bye!